Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 220.
On Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. Do you notice a difference in the audio? Or is it just me? No, you're not hearing it wrong. That's the patrons that you're hearing. Because we just got a new audio mixer, which has made our lives 4,000 times easier. So thank you, patrons, for helping to support this channel, making our lives easier so we can create more content for you guys.
And comment down below if you think it sounds better. And we're sponsored by BigBattery.com, with the best battery prices in the USA guaranteed. If you've got something you need to power, from homes to cars, RVs to boats, and much more, BigBattery.com has got you covered, offering the newest battery tech. So use our code NOWYOUKNOW to save 5% off your purchase today at BigBattery.com. And we're sponsored by our friends at Lesser Evil.
Ingredients mean everything. So when you buy snack food, look for good ingredients.
Lesser Evil has excellent ingredients. Check out their ingredient label next time you're shopping. All of them are available on their website at lesserevil.com.
And we're sponsored by Surfshark VPN.
Our viewers have a good reason to need Surfshark. Can you explain?
Not only does it protect your online privacy, but it also lets you get around pesky roadblocks to your internet satisfaction.
Internet satisfaction?
Yeah. For some unknowable reason, different companies like Netflix will offer different content in different countries. Also, different countries will create different regulations, preventing you from viewing certain content on YouTube.
Oh yeah, like we've had this problem for the past few months, right? Where some of our European viewers can't watch all of our YouTube videos for some reason.
Surfshark VPN is a great solution for this, and you can also use it to get different deals from different regions, including holiday deals from online retailers.
And speaking of the holidays, Surfshark has a Black Friday deal of their own. If you use our code NYK, you'll get an 83% discount and 4 extra months for free until Cyber Monday.
And you'll get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out.
Yeah, check out our link at the top of the show notes below. All right, so to start off the show, I think this is probably the most important story. Is Elon feeling better?
So on Monday, November 16th, Sam asked, "How are you doing, Elon? 40 million of us would like to know."
And Elon said, "I'm okay, thanks for asking. No symptoms for the past few days apart from fatigue. Unless something changes, would have to say that it simply felt like a mild cold." Then on Tuesday, James asked,
"How are you feeling today, Elon? Back to 100%?
Elon said, "Pretty close. Definitely feel 100% if I take Dayquil. Frankly, this was one of the mildest cold flu experiences I've ever had." Then on Wednesday, Jordan asked,
"I know earlier you said you were still feeling pretty 100. Still relevant?"
Elon said, "Yeah." Josh Bickett said, "Did it ever get confirmed as COVID?"
Yeah, PCR-CT was unequivocal at less than 20. Doesn't matter what method you use at that low a cycle threshold.
And then Tesla owner Silicon Valley said, "Any more symptoms?" Elon said, "No, just mild cold. Same with my bro. Definitely had CoV-2 though. PC less than 20 means more than 20 million parts per milliliter." Pranay said, "Do you still have mild fever, cold, or fully recovered?" Elon said,
"Fully."
Phew. All right. So I think we can put that to rest now.
Yeah. Well, what I think is probably the most exciting news is that Tesla is going to be joining the S&P 500 on December 21st.
And as John Crider said, is it coincidence that the S&P 500 is adding Tesla to the index on the shortest day of the year?
Elon said, "Fate loves irony."
So we reported on this on our in-depth last Friday, so go check it out. But Tesla hit its all-time high on Thursday. So the configurator for the Rivian R1T opened on November 16th, and we are early reservation holders, so we hopped on there and started to reserve our Rivian. And here's the options they were offering.
For wheel options, there was the 20-inch all-terrain wheel set, there was the 21-inch road set, and the 22-inch sport set.
I thought the 21-inch looks really good, and I thought it was a good compromise between off-road and road, so that's what I chose.
Now, there's also the camp kitchen option for $5,000, which includes the induction cooktop, the sink, 4-gallon water tank, along with, I think, cutlery and places to put all of that, and you slide it right out of the gear tunnel.
I didn't choose this, A, because $5,000, and B, because I actually want the gear tunnel.
Right. This takes up all the space of the gear tunnel.
Right. Now, the off-road upgrade is included, and that includes a reinforced underbody shield, dual front bumper tow hooks, and an air compressor. And that normally would have been $2,000. So air compressor, does that mean that you can blow up your own tires? Does that mean that you can use air tools? I don't, it didn't show. I don't know.
Nobody really knows for sure, aside from Rivian. But as soon as we get the R1T, we will let you know.
So there's some interior options. There was black, ocean, and launch green. I thought the ocean, white interior looked pretty good, so we went with that. And then, of course, there were the colors. Now, that we did a poll last week to see what you guys thought, and you guys picked
Rivian blue.
That's a really cool popping color. We didn't choose that color. Maybe we should have. We chose the LA silver because it was more of like...
It is the color of the R1T. So if we're going to be reviewing it and showing everyone, we want it to look like the Rivian that everyone thinks of.
I mean, I think we could change I don't think they've locked us in yet to our options, so we could change it. I don't know. Comment below if you think that like we're making a mistake going with LA silver. Maybe we wussed out. I don't know. Because like...
Yeah, you can... Well, you can always wrap it. You can always repaint it. There's we have options here.
Yeah, I know. But maybe I'm having a little regret that we didn't go with the pop and blue.
I think we're going to keep the LA silver.
But anyway, this is what our truck will look like if we go with the options that we chose. I think one of the things I didn't even realize about this truck is the glass roof. I mean, it looks amazing from the inside. And I don't know. I'm just really excited to get in there and test it out for you guys. So this should be coming hopefully in June. Oh, and for those of you who haven't pre-ordered, the configurator will open for non-pre-orders today.
So last week, following the successful launch of Crew Dragon, the Dragon space capsule docked with the ISS, or I believe it means birthed. There's a lot of space terms. You got to keep them straight or you're going to be saying something wrong. But long story short, the can that that SpaceX launched into space with the people in it docked with the ISS, and the whole mission went very successfully.
Yeah, the astronauts who had been on other space launches said it was one of the most comfortable experiences they'd ever had. So the Fremont, California Police Department has just released the results of a 1-year real-world study on having a 2014 Tesla Model S 85 police vehicle.
Their data was collected from March 2019 to March 2020 and compares the Model S to standard Ford police vehicles.
Now, here's some of the pretty astounding results. Look at the 5-year projected maintenance and repair cost savings.
Wait, so that's a savings of $11,677?
Yeah. Now look at the 5-year projected fuel cost difference.
So that's a savings of $27,977. It's almost $28,000.
Yeah, over 5 years. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
Now look at how much CO2 doesn't get released into our atmosphere over the 5 years.
Over 210,000 pounds.
And also what was cool to see is that Tesla had way less downtime than the ICE car did for maintenance.
So if you thought this report was interesting and you want to share it with your chief of police, you can first of all head over to the Now You Know Clips channel, where we're going to have this as a clip that you can send as a very short thing. You don't have to send them this whole video. And we also did an in-depth just a couple months ago where we were talking to a real-life police chief. Send both of those things along to your police chief. It's time to start getting police in Teslas.
All right, our buddy JB is back with part 2 of his mini documentary series on the French Postal Service.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Last week we talked about e-bikes and the three-wheeler, the Stabby. Now let's keep adding wheels, speed and range and talk about the lightweight four-wheeler of La Poste.
Ce véhicule est un quadéo, c'est un quad électrique de la Poste. À la différence d'un vélo électrique qui circule à vitesse de 25 km/h, ce véhicule-là peut circuler jusqu'à 50 km/h maximum. J'utilise ce véhicule parce que je l'utilise pour une autre tournée. Et cette tournée, elle est plus éloignée parce qu'il faut faire 5 km pour arriver jusqu'à la commune pour faire la tournée. Avec le quadéo, on l'utilise pour accéder à une rue. Aussitôt qu'on a stationné le quadéo, on fait une route principalement tout à pied. Après, l'avantage d'un quadéo, c'est qu'il sort par tous les temps. On a un toit. On est abrité pour la pluie, la neige, toute intempérie qu'on peut s'y attendre. Sur le contrôle du quadéo, on dispose d'un bouton appelé stockage. Alors le bouton de stockage, disons que c'est une manipulation assez particulière. Si par hasard le véhicule serait complètement déchargé, on aurait oublié de rebrancher la prise. Disons que ça peut créer un système de secours disons peut-être pour faire la tournée. C'est vraiment au minimum. Non, il n'y a pas de lecteur CD, il n'y a pas d'autoradio, mis à part le chant des oiseaux qu'on peut accepter.
Not many people know that, but with bikes and stabbies, the postmen and women have to stop at specific points along their route to refill their vehicles with mail, dropped in bags locked in lockers at those locations by bigger vehicles, but not with the Quadeo, because the Quadeo can carry the full load of mail for the entire round of distribution. In fact, it can carry a lot more, and not just for La Poste, because all the vehicles that you've seen so far can also be purchased by other businesses. The e-bikes are made by Gitane and sold as their e-cargo model, around 2,000 euros. The same goes for the Stabby and the Quadeo that are made by Ligier, starting at 12,000 euros for the Stabby and 15,000 euros for the Quadeo. So you may say this is all well and good, but what about their other vehicles, the bigger ones? Well, most of them are also electric. As you can see by the number of plugs hanging from the ceiling, this entire lineup of minivans is also electric. And this model, the Kangoo ZE, has its charging port hidden behind the Renault insignia in front of the vehicle, and it charges from 0 to 100 in less than 9 hours with a 4.6 kilowatt charging station, for a real-life range of 200 kilometers, 270 kilometers NEDC. And that's for the more recent models made after 2017. As you can imagine, this vehicle has no problem carrying all types of mail, but they also use it to collect the mail from bigger entities, and to place refill bags of mail along the routes in the lockers we talked about previously. On a side note, another and cheaper way to own one of those vehicles yourself would be through auction, and more specifically through the online platform vpost.fr, part of La Poste Group. They have various channels for individuals, professionals, and even previous employees, with new vehicles every Friday. Of course, other websites also offer decommissioned vehicles from La Poste, although more often than not in as good condition and with less guarantees. However, there's one thing for sure, this is not where you'll find their oldest models, because La Poste has a century-old history with electric vehicles. But to know more about that, you'll have to tune in next week. Now you know.
Thank you so much, JB. The final part of JB's report will be out next week.
All right, so Viv tweeted this out. Driver of this Model 3 lost control over the vehicle at 160 kilometers an hour. Roof of the car was sheared off, rear end almost completely severed. Doors are missing. Force of crash sent individual battery cells into nearby homes. He walked away with only minor injuries. Owen Sparks said, the main reason my parents finally decided to get a Tesla was for safety. If you care about your loved ones, drive a Tesla. Elon said,
safety is our primary design goal.
Yeah, so what happened was last Tuesday night, Dylan Malota was driving a 2019 Model 3, and he was driving so fast, 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour, that he left the road and hit a utility pole, breaking the pole and knocking over 2 trees and a telephone junction box. Police said, the damage from the collision caused the batteries from the Tesla to enter 2 different residences by breaking through the windows, one landing on a person's lap, and the second landing on a bed, catching the bedding on fire. A tire was ripped from the car during the collision and struck the second-story siding of a nearby apartment complex with such force that it ruptured the water pipes within the wall, destroying the bathroom to the apartment and flooding the downstairs portion of the apartment as well.
Police said that the suspect fled on foot. He was found 3 blocks away and taken to the hospital.
Police cited the driver on suspicion of DUI, drugs, marijuana, hit and run, criminal mischief 2, reckless driving, and reckless endangerment. Now, the main part of the story for me is that the guy who did all this actually ran away. He was actually okay after getting into an accident that any other car would have killed the occupant.
Right. Going 100 miles an hour is, first of all, not something that I suggest most people do outside of, well, pretty much anything. Like, I know that you can do it on a racetrack or whatever like that, but you are putting your life at risk. So when we talk about the destruction that happened, this would have happened with pretty much any car. You would have had tires flying off and smashing people's houses. It's a very irresponsible thing to be doing, especially in a residential neighborhood. But with that being said, how amazing is it that instead of this person dying in the crash, they were able to walk away and maybe learn a valuable lesson instead of it just being this sad story?
So Elon tweeted out last Wednesday about a holiday present that's coming for all Tesla owners.
Elon said Tesla holiday software release is fire emoji, fire emoji.
Toby Lee said what I think a lot of us are thinking, whoa, any hints?
Elon said, so many things you want and some you didn't even know you wanted.
Whoa. So let's just conjecture here. I mean, what do we think is in there?
I mean, personally, I think it's going to be full self-driving beta.
No.
But that's just conjecture, right?
That's just your hope.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be some games for sure. There's going to, add some entertainment stuff. But yeah, I bet there's a whole host of like little things that are going to be in there. I'm just dying to check it out.
And we could conjecture about this until we're blue in the face. If you want to actually talk about this, head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. At the $2 level, we're doing a poll. We've already had a bunch of people answer what they think is going to be on this update. And now we have a poll to see which ones we want the most.
Now, you were talking about the full self-driving beta, and there's a tweet about that here. Elon said, next week's release is special. Lots of fundamental improvements, both important bug fixes and entire new areas of functionality. And Nima said, updated timeline on wider release of full self-driving beta?
Elon said, if next week's release looks good, we will widen beta.
So you see, it's widening, but I don't think it's going to reach you yet.
You never know. I'm a pretty good driver.
Maybe. This is exciting too.
I mean, this might also come out around the same time. Maybe they're different things, but you never know.
I've been watching videos of how well the car is handling going around all sorts of weird edge cases, like people in the road, construction sites. Like the car is handling amazing.
Yeah, it's one thing to kind of talk about full self-driving cars, but it's another to see them in action.
Yeah. So our buddies over at Arcimoto have been on a tear ever since their recent Q3 earnings report.
So take a look at this 5-day stock chart. You can see that it more than doubled in a week.
Yeah.
Woo!
I know, right?
Zach and I, of course, are both shareholders in FUV, so we're both very extremely happy, but it also means you shouldn't take our financial advice seriously. We're not financial analysts, and anything we say, you should do your own research. But I think the question that everyone is asking is, why did the stock double in a week?
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's a lot of good things about the company, right? I mean, they've got a big pre-order backlog of thousands of units. They're working with Sandy Munro. They just revealed their Roadster, which is a high-margin Halo product. And on Thursday, Arcimoto announced a partnership with the city of Orlando, Florida. This is a joint municipal pilot program to test ultra-efficient electric vehicles in city fleets.
Orlando will be testing FUVs across 6 city departments over 3 months, including their fire department, police department, code enforcement, permitting, venues, and parking enforcement.
Yeah, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer said, our goal today is to be the most sustainable city in the Southeast. To achieve this vision, we must continue to seek out smart solutions that are more environmentally friendly, efficient, and cost-effective. We are hopeful that Arcimoto vehicles will be able to support the needs of many departments across our organization. We look forward to putting these innovative EVs to the test. Now, I think this is a fantastic opportunity for Arcimoto. But before we get into that, I also want to mention, I think another big reason why the stock shot up is that big money, big funds are getting into not only FUV, but a lot of other EV companies.
And why would they be doing that? Why would they be getting into EVs? Is there some kind of turning point, some kind of big thing that just happened that maybe might shift the whole perspective of investment? It would have to be some kind of large index inducting some kind of EV company into the midst, something that so many people and analysts said would never happen and should never happen. Anyway, I can't think of it. But yeah, let's get back to this Orlando thing.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a fantastic opportunity because if you're a municipality, you're always looking for ways to cut costs, and your municipality has employees driving around doing their jobs, and they're usually driving one person in a big car or truck, even though they don't need that. And so if you take a look at, say, Orlando, perfect spot to have FUVs driving around code enforcement people, police, fire people, because they don't need to be in a huge SUV.
And this is great for Arcimoto because we've seen Arcimoto in a couple of different costumes, so to speak. You know, we've seen the rapid responder. And so obviously just being able to get a defibrillator to someone 2 minutes earlier makes a huge difference.
Yeah, life and death.
Life and death difference. But some of the other roles that we hadn't even considered were parking enforcement, which I think it's perfect for.
Or like food inspectors.
Right.
You know, you show up to the restaurant, you need to find a spot to park. Instead of spending 20 minutes driving around trying to find that spot, boom, you got Rockstar Parking. And then you go in, do your job, come back out, and all of that done in an efficient EV. And here's the big part. A lot of municipalities right now are probably looking to get EVs, but what are their choices? They're pretty expensive.
Right. You got the Model 3, which is a good option, but bigger than you need, more than what you need, and more expensive than what you probably want. You could go for a Bolt. I mean, that's, again, pretty much the same deal. Aside from an e-bike, Arcimoto is probably your best choice.
Yeah, and it's a huge cost savings. Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussion, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners.
And the 3D configurator there allows you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality.
And Tesla Time News is sponsored by ecoware.us. If you're looking for presents for, I don't know, some kind of holiday coming up, maybe if you're looking for presents for someone watching this show.
Also, we got free shipping, and check out some of the cool new designs we have. And don't forget, we carbon offset the manufacturing, shipping, and life cycle of your purchase.
And we plant a tree for every order, thus making it carbon negative.
So VW's chief, Herbert Diess, announced last week that VW is increasing their spending on electrification.
So they're planning on spending 73 billion euros on electrification, including hybrid powertrains and digital technology over the next 5 years.
So that's $35 billion on battery electric vehicles and 11 billion euros for hybrid versions of their existing models. So Diess said, we're investing more in software than planned.
And he's referring to the 27 billion euros in digitalization over the next 5 years, twice as much as previously planned.
Ooh, now I just want to talk about this for a second because you can keep doubling your budget and trying to keep up with Tesla, but that's because you underestimated how far behind you were. And so every year you're like, oh gosh, we're further behind than we thought. We have to speed up more. And you're just going to keep spending and spending because Tesla is accelerating. It's like you think that you're just aiming for this 1 point up ahead, but that point is actually moving.
Right. I mean, we could get into some pretty complicated math, but essentially it's like, okay, we're going 30 miles an hour running, which is very fast. And I think that we're going to be able to catch up to Tesla. But Tesla is going like Teslas do. They accelerate very quickly. So that is where I think a lot of these companies, and not to say that VW has the wrong move here. I think that investing more money in digitalization and actually having software in your cars as opposed to having a bunch of stuff that you've bought from suppliers and plonking it right in there, that is definitely the right move. The question is whether they're going to be able to catch up to Tesla with this budget, and budget is not everything.
Yeah, Diess went on to say, yes, it is going to be a race with Tesla. They are also ramping up fast. We have more different body styles, and when it comes to an established dealership network, we should have an advantage over Tesla.
Dealerships and body styles. Those are the advantages that they have over Tesla. So body styles, let's just shelve that. Sure, whatever. The cars look different. Okay, good point. Dealerships, not an advantage at all. All of your dealerships do not want to sell EVs. Why? Because EVs don't need maintenancing. And where do dealerships make their money? Maintenance. That's the only way they make money. They sell you cars at a loss, so that way you come crawling back to them when your this or that is broken, and then they fix it, and then they charge a huge markup on it.
Yeah, Diess went on to say the new business model of the auto industry is completely different. In the next few years, it will be important to also take a leading position in vehicle software. And I want to point out here that right now, VW makes about 10% of the software in their cars. Their goal is to make 60%. Does that sound like the right goal to have?
Well, I don't know how much Tesla is making the software in the cars. I mean, this probably doesn't include, the YouTube and the Netflix and the Spotify.
Yes, but aside from that, it's 100%.
Google Maps.
It's 100%.
It's probably close to 100%, at least in terms of what you're dealing with. So yeah, that's probably not the best goal. It's a better goal than 10%.
It just shows you how far behind they are, that's the best they can come up with is a goal of 60% of the software.
So my question here is, does VW know that the dealership network is a liability and they just can't admit it? Because if they were to come out and say, like, our dealership network sucks and we should definitely be getting rid of it in the next few years, you'd really upset a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it's a transition. I think they all kind of know it's not going to help them, but they can't just ditch it right now.
Okay.
So Starlink has filed with the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Commission, for permission to start testing Starlink terminals on jets, both at airports and while flying around the U.S.
2 months ago, Starlink also filed a similar request with the FCC to test Starlink on the Falcon drone ships.
So this is really exciting stuff. Having Starlink on the jet, I think Elon now is going to be able to play some pretty cool games on his jet.
Well, it's not just Elon. So for anyone who's ever been on a plane, especially one that's, flying over an ocean, and you're like, how am I getting Wi-Fi? That comes from satellites. Doesn't come from Starlink, but if Starlink has the bandwidth and the speed and the coverage, it would kind of behoove most airlines to, ditch their old Wi-Fi in the sky system for Starlink, where the speeds, the bandwidth, everything could be higher. Everyone could be streaming everything, and it might even be cheaper.
Yeah. Starlink beta started in October for $500 for the hardware and $99 a month for the subscription. Almost 900 satellites have launched so far. Thousands more are needed at a cost of $10 billion, but Starlink estimates that Starlink could bring in revenue of $30 billion a year.
And this is a company that we can't get in on?
Not yet, but Elon did tweet that we should be able to get in on this IPO at some point in the future.
Oh, can't wait. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution last week. In that plan, Britain will ban the sales of new gasoline and diesel cars by 2030, a decade earlier than the previous commitment.
Johnson also pledged that the UK plans to power every home in the UK with renewable energy by 2030. Johnson said, although this year has taken a very different path to the one we expected, I haven't lost sight of our ambitious plans to level up across the country. So they'll be spending £1.3 billion for new EV charging, £582 million in EV incentive grants, £500 million in the next 4 years for development and production of EV batteries, and this will create 250,000 green jobs.
So this is great news. I mean, we had heard of their commitments before for the 2040, and we were like, those sound kind of lame. This is only 10 years away. So I think that this is closer to an actual useful plan.
Yeah, when you start telling people something's going to happen in 9 years, then I think things actually do start to click in their brains where they're like, wait a minute, we're not going to be able to buy an ICE car in 10 years? Maybe I should start looking into this thing.
Right. Planning is hard to do the further out you have to plan.
Right.
There's so many unforeseen variables. You know, if you're told that you need to do your homework, but it's due in 20 years, you're going to go, awesome, I'm not going to start my homework until year 19, month 11, day 29, 30, depending on the month.
So GM has made a bunch of announcements this week regarding EVs.
First, a statement from GM's Executive Vice President of Product Development, Doug Parks.
If you look at all the forecasts, the estimates, generally, the demand is kind of potentially being forecast to pick up. Well, we think the industry is transforming, and so we want to be at the leading edge of this.
So GM says that they will raise their spending on EVs from the $20 billion that they had earlier planned to $27 billion through 2025.
Now, I just want to stop you there because $27 billion sounds like a lot of money, but that's spread out over 5 years, so it's not as big as it sounds.
And GM now plans on 30 new EV models by 2025.
Yeah, I mean, they're headed up by a new CEO.
What about Mary Barra? She's out?
No, she's the CEO. I'm talking about the CEVO, the new Chief EV Officer, Travis Hester.
So, I mean, you got to really get that one right. CEVO.
Can you imagine, like, the secretary goes into Mary Barra's office and she's like, Ms. Barra, the new CEO is here?
What do you mean the new CEO? I'm the CEO.
No, the CEO, the CEVO. Sorry, CEVO.
Okay, well, you're fired.
Park also announced that they're developing a new battery tech that's going on in their Detroit labs, and it will yield batteries that hold twice as much as the current Bolt batteries and will cost 60% less. We'll learn it, we'll perfect it, we'll scale it, and we'll ride that cost curve down, Park said.
Little late to start doing that since Tesla's already done that and eating their lunch. Now, I want to just get back to one thing real quick. They want to have 30 EV models by 2025.
Yeah, CEO Mary Barra said that GM should exceed its previous target of selling 1 million EVs by 2025.
Okay, but Tesla's going to be producing 1 million EVs next year, most likely. By 2025, I mean, they're going to have at least 4 gigafactories up and running.
Yeah.
They could easily be producing over 4 million cars per year, and they're all going to be EVs by the year 2025. So they're going to be quadrupling what GM is able to do.
Yeah. Again, this is just like the VW story. All these companies had said that they were ahead of Tesla. They had Tesla killers. And then we all knew, we told you this years ago that was not true. And now, as we hit 2020, we said this was the magical year, right? Where all this stuff was going to fall apart. It's fallen apart. They don't have any of the things they said they'd have by 2020. Now they're coming out with New Year's. 2025.
Right. Well, you had this analogy for the longest time. They're like a wolf caught in a bear trap, and they need to chew off their own leg. I think that analogy is over. The new analogy for me is that they are lobsters in the pot, just realizing that, is it getting warmer in here? That's where they are. It's too late. I really think that it's too late.
I don't know if it's too late, Jesse, because GM unveiled this.
What is it?
Altify.
What Ultifi? What about Ultium? They just had their Ultium batteries.
They have the Ultium batteries, and this is Ultify.
So they're going to Ultify things with their Ultium batteries?
Yes. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound amazing?
It sounds...
So check this out. This is going to make it easier for people to buy EVs. See, it says here you just have an online experience. You don't have to sit there for hours with the financing guy and the sales guy.
Yeah. One thing here.
Yeah.
Is only for GM electric vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So only if you're buying a GM electric vehicle will you be able to buy online.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to go down to the dealership and get like the new Malibu or the Silverado, you still have to go to the dealership, sit there for 5 hours, wait for your salesman to go back to the finance guy and come back and say like, oh, this offer's only valid today. Hey, you still have to do all that rigmarole. But if you buy an EV, you're going to be able to skip all that?
Yeah. I mean, basically, they're admitting that their current dealer network is completely awful and that they have to compete with Tesla's online purchase experience. So they're basically saying, okay, we're going to split our customers. Those of you who are used to the crap, you just keep doing the crap. But those of you who know that Tesla's out there, come with us.
I think that it's smart on one sense. It makes the EV buying process easier, which I am all for. From a business sense for GM, I think that it's kind of dumb because it's just going to push everyone to wanting to buy EVs, and then as soon as the demand is there, of like, I didn't want to go to the dealership this time, and I wanted an EV because I heard good things about the online experience. Wouldn't people just start kind of migrating over to only buying EVs, and then when they ran out of EVs to sell, they would just go to Tesla?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to take our word for it. Doug Parks pretty much said it himself. We don't want to just participate. We want to lead. Tesla's got a good jump, and they've done great things, and so they're formidable competitors. There's a lot of startups and everyone else invading the space, and we're not going to secede leadership there.
And so to just translate that quote, he's basically saying there, Tesla has leapfrogged us while we were complacent. However, now that we're behind, we're going to make a lot of noise about catching up. So not looking too good for old GM there.
Streetscooter was a German electric van manufacturer that had produced over 15,000 electric vans.
You said was, you said had. They've been making the Streetscooter vans for the German Post.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, see, unfortunately, DHL, which bought the company in 2014, has decided this March that it's lost interest in running the company, and they've decided to close it.
Well, that's not good.
No. So Oliver Kirsch, he's a member of the German federal parliament, has reached out personally to Elon Musk to ask him to buy the company to save it.
Now, there's no word if Elon has responded.
I'm kind of doubtful that he wants this company. I'm sure he wants it to do well. But I mean, when Elon buys a company like Maxwell, it's to help him make what he's making, not to go make some other product that he wasn't making.
Right, and it's a company that he wanted to buy. It's not a company that someone called him up and said, hey, Elon, do you want to buy this? I mean, it's just kind of like when your friend is like, hey, man, do you want like a couch? Oh, I got a really cool couch. Do you want it? And I'm like, oh, I wasn't in the market for a couch or anything. No, man, it's like real nice. You want it?
I know. I mean, these were cool vans. They used modular batteries, so you could get, from 30 to 90 kilowatt hours and a range of 80 to 200 kilometers. But ultimately, Tesla is making vehicles that are way more efficient. So I kind of think he's not going to be that interested.
Right. I think he's going to be like, well, I want to make a cyber van.
Yeah. And
nothing that Streetscooter has is going to allow me to do that because they don't have the battery line that I do. They don't have the knowledge of how to fold hardened stainless steel like I do. So, I mean, I think when he goes to, and I hope that he makes the cyber van, Cybertruck and then the cyber van, I just think it's going to be awesome.
So Karma Automotive has filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court, the Central District of California, on October 30th, that alleges that Lordstown Motors deployed a Trojan horse scheme.
Wow, I didn't know that Trojan horses still work. I thought that the Greeks kind of, proved it back in, whenever it was BC, and then we all kind of got wise to it that if someone gives you a big wooden thing that you don't.
Well, maybe it's been so long they thought they wouldn't remember.
So Lordstown built a big electric-powered Trojan horse?
Not exactly. So in this case, Karma claims that Lordstown partnered with them to poach Karma's employees and steal intellectual property.
Oh, so the horse in this case is the partnership. And then the Greeks sneaking out of the horse at night to go, do whatever is them poaching the employees.
Right.
Okay. Now, Lordstown refutes the claims as fantasy in court documents, saying that the company couldn't implement any of Karma's alleged private information because of hardware differences, while employees left Karma because the ultra-luxury car maker was downsizing its engineering department. not because they were poached.
And Lordstown Motors says it declined to purchase Karma's systems because the price was far too high, not because of the fictitious scheme that Karma has concocted. And so what we're talking about here is that Karma and Lordstown were working together on the new infotainment system for the Lordstown Endurance truck. And I urge you to go read more about this case because it's quite salacious. But basically, yeah, they were working together on it, and Karma claims that Lordstown basically just set this up as a ruse, as a way to be like, hey, come on over, bring over your best people. We're not going to poach them or anything. And yeah, just help us out. Thanks. And then it sounds like they basically poached their best employees and set up their own company.
Man, electric pickup truck companies and poaching.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
This shows you, I think, I mean, so we've talked about this, right? Lordstown Motors is kind of a play by GM. I mean, it's its own company, but GM has funded a lot of it and helping them out. And this kind of insulates GM, right? There's no talk of suing GM about this. Right. And then what does GM get? Well, they get whatever Lordstown has. So now they have a new infotainment division, which I guess came a la Karma.
Right. It also really highlights the shortage of good engineers.
Yeah.
That there are currently in the world, which means that if you are an engineering student or you're thinking about becoming an engineer, it's a good time to be getting into it.
Yeah.
Because the companies are basically doing, quasi, potentially, allegedly illegal poaching of said employees in order to get the best employees in order to succeed as a company.
Yeah. So we've been reporting on the new updates in the 2021 Model 3, although Tesla doesn't use model years. Now, according to Electrek, Model Y is also getting many of these new updates, including
auto-dimming side mirrors, silver scroll wheels on the steering wheel, laminated window glass, a USB port in the glove box.
Now, let's stop there for a second.
Yeah.
Why do you need a USB port in the glove box?
Well, so inconvenient to have your phone. So better to put it in the glove box and charge it up. I'm kidding. It's for your Centricam USB storage device.
Why the glove box?
Well, so for instance, in my car, I don't have a USB port in my glove box. So if a would-be thief, assassin, whatever, wants to go in and get rid of all of the evidence of them ever breaking into my car, all they have to do, pull the thumb drive out, eat it. Don't eat thumb drives. If you're an assassin,
if you're an assassin.
Or if you're not
an assassin,
even if they're not good for you. You just have to destroy that, and it's very easy because it's right there. However, having this in the glove box means that both.
Why can't they just open the glove box?
Because there's a pin. Tesla has implemented because there's no button on the Model 3 or Y. There's no button to open the glove box, which a lot of people complained about. But now it's actually a feature because now you can have a separate pin from your pin to drive. Mm-hmm. You can lock your glove box.
Pretty cool.
Very, very cool, which means that now your Centricam data is safe, locked up in the glove box.
And I mean, speaking of the Centricam, Tesla now includes the 64 gigabyte USB thumb drive storage device with the Model Y,
which I think is a great thing. And by the way, if you or someone in your family has a Tesla and they don't have any kind of thumb drive in their car to be the Tesla Cam / Centricam storage device, I would urge you to get one.
Good Christmas present.
Very good Christmas present. And by the way, while we're talking about Christmas presents, if you're buying some of your presents online, say Amazon, if you use our Amazon affiliate link down below, a small portion of your purchase will go to helping to support the show.
And it doesn't cost anymore.
Absolutely.
All right, it's time for Going Green. So the Netherlands banned smoking at all of their train stations last month. What are you thinking about?
We're just thinking about all those ashtrays that you don't need anymore. Like, are they going to give them away? Are they going to turn them into art now?
Well, the space where the ashtrays were located, actually, they're going to be turning those into e-bike charging stations. ProRail representative Willem van Wijik explained, "We want people to travel sustainably from door to door, not only by train, but for example, by bicycle to the station. By converting smoking posts into charging stations, we can ensure that more people take the electric bike."
Amsterdam company Lightwell is designing the charging poles. Each pole can charge 2 bikes. This is great. What an awesome negative to positive kind of story. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a double win-win.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for Into the Future.
Escape into the future.
So 28 companies, including Tesla and Rivian, have joined forces to push for 100% electric vehicle sales by 2030.
They have formed Zeta, the Zero Emissions Transportation Association.
Yeah, basically, this is a lobbying group. But normally we think of lobbying groups as like for bad things like coal. This is a lobbying group for good things.
It should launch in a couple months when Biden takes office and will focus on, among other things, incentives for EV purchases, enacting stricter fuel economy regulations, creating a greater charging infrastructure, greater government cooperation towards EV R&D and the related supply chain, and manufacturing.
Yeah, finally a lobbying group we can get behind.
That's pretty exciting. You can see the list of other companies that have joined.
It's really exciting because up until now, I mean, lobbying groups from, that are funded by Ford and GM and so forth, they have a lot of power, a lot of say on Capitol Hill. Now, if we start putting together these big powerhouse companies, they're going to have their own say. We're actually going to be pushing lawmakers in the right direction. All right, it's time for Sunspots. So everything is bigger in Texas.
I thought it's everything's giga in Texas.
That's true. There's the gigafactories and there's the pickup trucks. And now there's the solar fields. Last week, Invenergy, a Chicago-based global developer and operator of green energy generation and storage, announced it will be building the largest solar farm in the United States, 1,310 megawatts in northeastern Texas.
The Samson Solar Energy Center will be constructed over the next 36 months. It will cost $1.6 billion and create 600 jobs.
Now, you might be saying $1.6 billion, but if you take 1.3 gigawatts and you divide it into $1.6 billion, that's about $1 a watt.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. And it will be powering 5 major consumer brands and supply power to 3 Texas municipalities.
Yeah. AT&T, Honda, McDonald's, Google, Home Depot, and these 3 municipalities with 300,000 homes, all of them powered by this one big solar farm. And I just want to point out, when you're hearing from companies that are like, we're going to be spending more money on renewables, and you're like, yeah, whatever, I don't see the solar panels. That's where they put them. They usually put them into big utility scale solar farms that you might not see on the roofs of those particular companies, but they're actually paying the money that it takes to build these out.
If you want to have a slightly smaller scale solar system for your roof, you can head over to EnergyPal. They are energy experts that help you go solar for less.
Yeah, take more control of your energy and guarantee the price of power and storage costs for the next 20 years and do it all online, on your schedule, on your couch. And the best part is, you don't even have to pay for it. That's all paid for by the installers. You get all the advice for free, and they help you find the best system for you.
So be sure to click the link down below and let them know that Now You Know sent you.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. And if you got a story you want to send us, send it on in to Zach@nowyouknowchannel.com. Make it 2 minutes or less, no music, and make sure you shoot it in landscape or Jesse gets mad. And tell us a little story about something going on in your neck of the woods. What do we got this week, Jess?
We've got Mike in Switzerland. Take it away, Mike.
Hi Zach and Jesse, Mike here in Switzerland on top of the St. Gotthard Pass, which is about a little over 6,800 feet high. And I seen a project up here, kind of unexpected. They're actually putting up wind turbines here. Well, the wind got way too strong to keep recording, so I gotta show you some pictures of this 5 wind turbine project on top of the pass. What we're seeing here are part of the 17 concrete segments that make up the first 70 meters of each tower. On top of that, there goes a 25 meter steel segment, and then the very tip will be the actual turbine, making for a total of 98 meter tower height. Each tower sits on a foundation made out of 350 cubic meter of steel reinforced concrete. There was a small solar powered visitor center. Unfortunately, it was closed, so I had to find more information somewhere else. But I got some specs here. The wind turbines are rated at 11.75 megawatts, and they're supposed to produce 16 to 20 gigawatt hours annually, which should be enough to power 4,000 households every year. We were there at the beginning of August, about 6 weeks ago, and these towers were still under construction. By now they're already completed and they're running in a test phase. By this November they will be hooked to the grid and power homes in Switzerland. Now you know.
Yeah, I mean,
what I just realized is that one of those turbines would power our entire town.
Yeah, just one of them.
Yeah.
Now, I know that we don't live next to the Alps. We do live next to a mountain range, I will point out. But kind of like anywhere that you are holding a camera and it sounds just like That's probably a good place to start looking for wind. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like we should make an app that when it hears that sound, it's like, oh, that might be a good place to investigate for a wind tower.
There's better ways of doing it.
Probably.
But really cool. Thank you so much, Mike. And again, yeah, be sure to send in those stories.
And speaking of stories, we got more stories for you at the Patreon bonus story segment, which if you head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, you can see for as little as $1 a month. And we've got a story that we're going to be talking about over there that's pretty cool. Check this out. We're going to be talking about this new VW Mini concept.
Is that a bonsai tree?
You'll have to find out in the stories.
Okay.
And we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for the Patreon shout-outs. Who do we got this week, Jess?
We've got James Stevens,
Brandon Jaggers,
Stephen Cole,
Alan Rutherford,
James 0x57,
Jonathan Torres,
David Anderson,
Rob Castillo,
Jeffrey Cummings,
Eric Arnold,
Michael Kahn,
Keith Franklin,
Zachary Karras,
Ryan Swindle,
Anne-Marie Rust,
Raymond Lavoie,
Francisco Ibar,
Mark Brody,
Carl Weimar.
and Mike Richards.
Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We can't do it without you.
You make it all possible. All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week, and he makes it all possible. Let's start off with a 420 joke, shall we? Yeah, so now you might be saying, like, who are these people? When the Dragon's about to launch, you get the crew members. They got numbers on their backs. It just happened that 4 and 20 were there that day.
And a lot of people think that Elon is like this pothead. He's not. He's just very adolescent.
Yeah. Tesla Rich said, can you assure we'll get our short shorts before the shortest day? While you're at it, when will Tesla Kilo become available again? Non-drinker willing to celebrate with you.
Elon said they're on their way. Hopefully more Tequila next month.
And Pauline said, Elon, will Tesla Kilo be available in Europe soon?
Elon said, unfortunately, there are too many rules around liquor distribution, even in the U.S. However, we will be selling the Lightning bottle and shot glass worldwide.
Ooh.
So, I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to buy it just for the tequila. That wasn't the point. I wanted the bottle.
Yeah.
So that's smart.
Lucas said, what caused a Raptor melting on SN8? Are you planning to recommence testing this week? Elon said, about 2 seconds after starting engines, Martite covering concrete below shattered, sending blades of hardened rock into the engine bay. One rock blade severed avionics cable, causing bad shutdown of Raptor. Ooh.
I mean, how cool that we actually get to learn about this stuff.
Yeah. Then Elon tweeted out, the most amazing thing about rocket engines is that they sometimes don't blow up. The amount of power going through them boggles the mind. Then Peter Haig said, biggest unanswered question in the space industry in the next decade is what the hell to do with this capability? It's utterly transformative.
And so he was talking about a quote earlier from Elon, talking about how much you can put into orbit using Starship.
At such a low cost.
At such a low cost.
And Elon said, it's designed to make life multiplanetary, otherwise extreme overkill for mere Earth sector activity. Starship fleet masses to orbit per year will be more than 1,000 times all current Earth rockets combined, including Falcon, necessary for city on Mars. And this is what's so amazing about Elon. He's not trying to nickel and dime his competitor. He's not like, let's put out a rocket that's 5% better than theirs. He's trying to come up with a rocket that will get us off this planet. So by doing that and by going back to first principles, he ended up with a rocket that's so much more efficient than theirs.
And so he's not playing their game. Their game is like, how can we nickel and dime? Or actually, in the case of rocket companies, it's like, how can we spend and spend and spend to do very little? Whereas he actually has a goal in mind. And it really shows when you have a goal, you can actually move to accomplishing it. You know, we choose to go to the moon in this decade is we went to the moon in that decade. That just happens.
Stacy said, The Witcher available to play in Teslas? Elon said.
Emoji is
Smirky
called.
emoji.
Yeah.
Astromanium said, Die on Mars. The billionaire Elon Musk in 2017 gave one statement to leaders of government that when he dies, that he'd prefer to die on Mars. Elon wants to populate Mars with more than 1 million people by 2050. Would that be possible, Elon Musk? Elon said,
Yeah.
Really? And then Astromonium said, Elon, when people arrived on Mars, would the planet already be terraformed, or would people have another way created by SpaceX to survive on the red planet?
Elon said life in glass domes at first, eventually terraformed to support life like Earth.
And Astromonian said, several studies showing that terraforming Mars is not possible with current technologies. What will a SpaceX do to reverse this in the future? And Elon said, terraforming will be too slow to be relevant in our lifetime. However, we can establish a human base there in our lifetime. At least a future spacefaring civilization discovering our ruins will be impressed humans got that far.
So that's pretty macabre view of the future, but it's they're kind of positive because they think that we were pretty neat.
We know that most laws and systems that govern our society were designed long before we were born. What will you say about the laws you will have on Mars that you don't have on Earth?
Elon said, let the Martians decide their own future.
Whoa. And then Bill Lee said, here's a wager. SpaceX will put humans on Mars before Honolulu finishes their rail project. Elon said, 13 years and $11 billion. Wow. Adam said, any chance Tesla owners could get an option to adjust Sentry Mode sensitivity?
Elon said, sure.
And then John Carmack said, the spinal cord has about the same number of neural connections as the optic nerve. To your brain, all of your body from the neck down is worth about one eye. Total input-output from the brain is only a few million signals, and the bandwidth isn't very high. The brain in a jar of science fiction could run over modern Wi-Fi. Elon said?
He said, yep.
Neuralink, dude.
Wow. That's really wild.
Tasha Keeney from ARK Invest said, why is XPeng using LiDAR? Big deviation from copying Tesla. XPeng says it will greatly improve accuracy, I believe it, but can severely limit scalability for their autonomous approach. Did they realize they couldn't make their Tesla copy approach work? Elon said, they have an old version of our software and don't have our neural net inference computer. To be clear, this was just an XPeng problem. Other companies in China have not done this. And Space Tourist said, are you saying they actually have a copy of your old source? Not cool. Elon said, yeah, they stole Apple's code too. So great to copy Tesla, but the problem you have when you copy them is that they move so fast that you've got something old.
Right. And not great to copy Tesla. That's illegal. But it also shows that doesn't actually do anything. So for all the people who are like, oh, they're just going to copy Tesla, then you're already behind and you haven't even built anything yourself, so you can't build the next thing.
Exactly. Philippe Crozon said, hello, Elon. I'm a famous French adventurer without arms or legs. Send me into space to show once again that anything is possible.
Elon said, one day we will fly you on Starship.
Wow, what a nice guy. Miro said, I never saw a person dislike LiDAR as much as Elon. At some point in time, LiDAR will be cheaper, but I do admire your leadership. Elon said, this is a misperception. SpaceX developed and continues to use LiDAR for drag and docking with the space station. Just pointless, in my opinion, for self-driving. If you're going to do active photon generation, use an occlusion-penetrating wavelength like precision radar at about 4 millimeters. Then Eva said, LiDAR is a method of measuring distance by shooting lasers and detecting how much time they take to return. Computer vision is a field of AI that trains computers to understand the visual world. This is basically reverse engineering human vision. So, Elon said?
It will be better than human vision by quite a margin. Yeah, if you've ever studied your the vision of your eye, you'll know that even just
it's not really a camera.
Yeah, like a basic camera has better overall resolution than your eyeball.
Cybergrade said, do you see the need to upgrade cameras to 4K and better HDR in the future?
Elon said there will always be upgrades. That's something we haven't heard too much of before.
All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community mail time.
So this was an interesting picture sent in. Same spot, same place, same picture.
No. That's the one on the top has ice.
Yeah, that's because it was in 1917, and the one on the bottom was in 2020.
Holy crap.
So 100 years, and that's the difference that we're talking about. And then Somi spotted this up in Canada.
Wait, Santa? Is that Santa's sleigh?
It's something. Somebody's got the Christmas spirit.
That's awesome.
And hey, we're low on community mail times, and it's not my fault because we just need more people to send in community mail times.
Yeah, send in some pictures, of your new car, whatever you want to send us. Send it to Zach@nowyouknowchannel.com or put it on our Facebook or send it to us on Patreon.
And send us some pictures because, it's a visual kind of show.
Yeah. All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews. These are sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. If you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla this Christmas, check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on purchases over $100.
Hi Now You Know community, this is Mike here at the Postal 150 kilowatt supercharger in Bozeman, Montana. Pretty small supercharger right here. It's in the parking lot of the Hilton Garden Inn. There's a couple restaurants up this way. There is some shopping all around here. There's a gas station with convenience store over there. There is only 4 of them here, but it never has been busy all the times we came here. Actually, when we got here, there was 1 car here and he's already gone. So I would rate this supercharger probably a 7 out of 10 because everything is in the area, but you gotta walk a couple minutes to get there. Now you know.
Hi Zach and Jesse, I'm Jenna. I'm in Switzerland, in Egerkingen at the Tesla supercharger. There are 1,050 kilowatt superchargers here. There is also this charger here, a Chademo and CCS. This is just a minute from the Autobahn. Just follow the moving pick hotel signs. When you get here, there is a gate. You need to pull a ticket, and there's 2 hours of free parking, which is plenty of time to charge your Tesla. Unfortunately, there's not much to do here. There's only a hotel and a restaurant, but you can also play games in your Tesla. My favorite is beach buggy racing too. It was easy to get here and it's in a nice location, but unfortunately there's not much to do here, so I'd rate it a 6 out of 10.
Good day, Zach and Jesse. Chris and
Michio. So we are at the Fremont Chateau Lake Louise in Lake Louise, Alberta, and these are the chargers.
we have 2 destination chargers here for Teslas. Our beautiful Model S is plugged in getting some juice. Someone's Model 3. We have a Porsche Cayenne here, which the owner just picked up today, as a matter of fact. So, normal looking typical garage. Nothing special here. However, let us take you outside. Okay, here we are outside the Chateau Lake Louise. Our hotel room is in this building. We went for dinner over here.
So overall, we rated a 10 out of 10 because of the awesome food and restaurants and amenities, and also because of
The beautiful glacial Lake Louise.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Wow, those are beautiful superchargers. Thank you so much, guys, for sending those in. All right, time for new superchargers that went online this week. What do we got, Jess?
We've got the 28 stall version 3 in Cupertino at Stevens Creek Boulevard in California.
We got the 16 stall version 3 in Hesperia, California.
The 3 stall version 3 in Varangerbotn, Norway.
We got the 16 stall version 3 in San Diego, California at Balboa Mesa.
The 12 stall version 3 in Fremont, California at Pacific Commons.
We got the 16 stall version 3 in Traver, California.
The 12 stall version 3 in Bishop, California.
The 8 stall version 3 in Woodland, California.
Number 566 in Europe is the 8 stall version 3 in Zoidbrook, Netherlands.
The 3 stall version 3 at the Cyberport in Hong Kong.
Cyberport.
That sounds cool.
Whoa. That's where the Cybertruck's going. We got the 20 stall urban supercharger in Santa Ana, California at East 5th Street.
The 8 stall 250 kilowatt in Falls Church, Virginia.
Number 191 in California, the 12 stall version 3 at Emeryville, California at Shelmound Street.
The 8 stall 250 kilowatt in East Brunswick, New Jersey.
And number 50 in Texas, number 934 in the United States, and 2038 in the world is the 16 stall urban supercharger in Austin, Texas at Centuries Oak Terrace.
Wow, 50 in Texas.
Wow.
All right, let's go for the prettiest supercharger. What do we got?
This was sent in by Holger.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. This is Holger from Austria again. Today I have something very nice. I'm here in Croatia at Senji Supercharger. It has 4 stalls and it is next to the port. There are a lot of restaurants where I can go eat. The only disadvantage is it charges too fast. But you can go also for a little swim at the beach. This supercharger is along the coastal road Jadranska Magistrala, and it's very, very beautiful. So now you know.
You know it's
You
a good
had me at beach.
You know.
Oh, man.
You know it's a good supercharger when it charges too fast.
Yeah, what is this charges too fast thing?
That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, it's time for our Patreon giveaway. And if you want to get into this big barrel of fun, you can join us on Patreon. And the more you support us, the more times we put you in the in the barrel. We got ourselves a poster here we're giving away this week, Tesla parking only. And who's the winner this week, Jesse?
Here we go.
Get my marker ready.
Yes. The winner is Craig Warp.
Congratulations, Craig.
And we're putting you back in because that's the way this thing works. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Tesla Time News. You know, it does take a whole lot of effort to put one of these episodes together. We spend about the entire week writing the news. We're usually not waiting, but we're waiting on the news to come in. We're there Sunday, usually afternoon, still putting in stories right before, we're about to record it. And then we record it, and then pretty much from the moment we finish recording, we have editors working on finishing it, getting it ready for Monday's release. So, it takes an enormous amount of work, and we can't do any of this work without all of our amazing Patreon supports. For all of the people that you see of the names running by here, that you wonder how we're able to do this show every week, it is those people. If you want to help support us, we have lots of really great perks. You can head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. Support us for as little as $1 a month, get access to the Patreon bonus stories. And check out some of the other perks. We have the Investor Club, which we have lots and lots of exciting things to be talking about as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could make more from the Investor Club than you're going to give. So that's the idea behind it.
That's the whole idea. That's what we want to do.
And I mean, I want to thank you guys for being part of the community, because every week I get the honor of talking to you guys and hearing from you guys and all the new ideas that has come out of being with you guys. I mean, there's something we're talking about on the Investor Club, which I can't talk about here, that is because of you. The ideas came from you. Mm-hmm. And it's really exciting. And yeah, we're going to be talking about that more in the next couple weeks.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Tesla Time News. We hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, you can hit the dislike button. It doesn't work. It's been broken. So may as well hit the like button and actually, affect a number. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, because we do this every single week, and we have done for 220 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and welcome to our new subscribers. There's a lot of people I've been hearing from who've joined in the past 6 months. So thank you so much for joining and being a part of the community.
We'll see you next week.
Now you know.